get a word. Half of Newark, half of motherfucking Orange, New Jersey, motherfucking from New York, Maryland, they gonna be there. Boston, Philly, they coming. Just to deal with one child, they will come from everywhere when she get an order. We trying to get the big fish out the pond first. Then we gonna deal with the little fish at home. Because that secret squirrel shit is what got these kids fucked up right now.
In the first place, exactly.
See, it had got to a point where it was so few good men that hadn't been murdered yet or lynched that the women cherished them so much that it allowed the children to be abused because the few good men they had, they didn't want him to correct the bad man because the slave catcher gonna come. Right? And when the slave catcher come, they're gonna put him on the auction block and sell him into slavery. Slavery today is called prison. They don't want the good man correcting the bad man because the good man gonna be the one doing time. So the women start keeping this shit a secret to try to protect the good man. Fuck that shit. That's what we here for. I go do my goddamn time. I go sit back with my feet up and read a couple more thousand books.
Niggas ain't like that. That's why.
That's why I ain't no nigga.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I know that. Said that's why I ain't no nigga. No, that shit pisses me off though, for real. But yeah. Yeah,
so the situation has to be handled in a particular way. So I have to tell you certain stuff offline. Not because I'm keeping it a secret. It's because the people who you have to contact, they can't be exposed right now. And they really deaf on them on women beaters and child molesters. They get treated like they would in old school penitentiary, especially when it's known to be true. Because they've been using a lot of false allegations also to remove the good men and let the bad man stay. So people start accusing the good man of doing what the bad man doing, and then the good man doing time for nothing he didn't do nothing. He's sitting up in jail rotten, while the rotten motherfuckers is sitting out here flourishing and making more rotten fruit. Because mama said one bad fruit spoiled a whole bunch.
I think that you're absolutely right when you say the men got to handle it. It's just, you know, that part where it is something to consider, especially because the police being involved take it to a different level for everybody. But
you know, my philosophy is fuck the police.
Fuck the police, exactly.
I deal with that nigga myself before I call the police on him. I'm not calling the police on the motherfucker. That's why I be like, fuck all that old, because I was finna get into the shenanigans on some arguing across the internet. I thought about that shit. All them niggas gonna do is call the police.
All niggas gonna do is call the police.
That's what they inadvertently trying to dry snitching as it is, trying to call the police, but they trying to get a police evidence the police already got, and they took that and like, nigga, we already know that shit.
Next.
we just not figured that out. But this so I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, because you know I'm the type of motherfucker, I pull up at a motherfucker spot. I don't got no problem with it. I don't give a fuck if I had to walk from here, from Detroit, Michigan to Phoenix, Arizona to pull up on a motherfucker. And it might take me a year to walk that distance. But I tell you what, when I get there, I'm gonna pull the fuck up. And I'm not coming to argue. I could have did that shit over the internet.
On the phone, right.
Right. So why would I do all that tongue wrestling if we ain't gonna fight? And if we gonna fight, why am I gonna do all that tongue wrestling? I might as well just go and fight. Right? Because all that tongue wrestling gonna lead to a fight.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And then if the tongue wrestling gonna lead to a fight, then I might as well not tongue wrestling. Just cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
So I got one more question. So for men or women who have love interests, relationships, I know we're not technically focusing on thinking with our P's, but we're talking past that. We're talking about growth and development in all types of relationships, even with people you have, you know, children with and stuff like that, and trying to just elevate, even if it's just, you know, a co-parenting type of thing. That, and women going through that as we raise the matriarchy. What is that looking like?
Okay. You kind of like paused for a minute and I kind of lost track of the question.
Summed it up, because men and women who are not together, but like still have to coexist with each other, not thinking with their peas.
Yeah. So most of them in the hostile relationships, in the matriarchy, when the two parents can't talk civilly to each other about the child and make competent civil decisions about the child, then both of the mothers have to come up with the solution between the family elders on both sides of the family. No side left out. But the individuals that can't get their act together, they ain't got no say. They too busy doing, you know, 3D shit. Thinking with their D's and their P's. Right? So as long as they doing that, but if, let's say one of them is trying to do the right thing and they fighting the other one, and the other one is just trying to be in control. When you present the matter to the elders on both sides, they come up with a solution that's in the interest of the child. They don't give a fuck about their parent, because sometimes the solution requires the grandparents to take the child from both parents, and both grandparents is going to agree because it's in the best interest of the child. And that's how come Big Mama house always got so many kids. And so many aunties always work there.
It was some women who, it was a young girl at my mom's job who gave her baby away to diapers, to Child Protective Services, but nobody knew. The dad didn't know and the grandmother didn't know, and it was because she didn't want to. It should just be crazy. And the shit that people deal with, like on a, just even hearing these stories, I don't, like I said, I don't be meaning to put this on people, but what you just said is like true. But
so in the case where the because it's gonna be, it's a lot of cases right now, like you said, where the men don't even know he got a child. Right? So in cases like that, her family still got to hold her accountable. Right? And take her ass on Maury, take all 725 of them niggas she fucked up till you find that baby daddy. And sometimes you gonna find the baby daddy out of that 725 niggas she was fucking, because he's somebody closely related to her that she don't want to tell on. Or she, you know, she already suspected, she might not know it, like the situation you mentioned earlier, she don't know if it's her boyfriends or uncles. That shouldn't even be a motherfucking question in her mind. Because that question exists, that means something is out of order. Right? So she'd probably take 50 innocent motherfuckers on Maury before she took her uncle. And everybody come back, he is not the father. He is not the, like, goddamn. And then we in our ignorance, not knowing what's going on, don't know why she can't figure out who her baby daddy is. Shit, it might be her goddamn daddy's baby. You never know.
Let's come in. Maybe some guys or something, I don't know. But we'll talk.
Yeah. A question, it's a good question popped up. It say, how do one seek and commit to a tribe if they have no living close relatives or kinfolks to reach out to? So those are called orphans on the land. And they pick, the tribe that picked them is the tribe they gonna pick. You will know them because those are the people you with every day, spending your time with, giving your love energy to. Right? So one of the things we teach the children under a matriarchy is be careful who you give your love energy to. Because if you give it to the wrong person, it'll drain you. Because they only have bad intentions for you, but they held secret places in their dark hearts.
Mm.
But the ones that, when you are orphan, the ones who are that you draw to, you natural affinity to, the earth, humans pack animals. The frequency of the earth is going to move us to the pack that is ready to receive us as an orphan. So this is how you end up in South Central with an all-black Crips gang, and here you got a white boy in there. Where the fuck he come from? He got his one drop of blood, and nature sent him there. She sent him there to prove his one drop of blood qualification, because if the brothers in his neighborhood accept him, he ain't going to betray that trust. That's that drop of blood that makes him not betray that trust. He don't give a fuck how many racists tell him he should be racist. It don't fit in his paradigm if he got that one drop of blood, because them is his brothers. He don't see their color. He only see his tribal colors. That's it. And this is how you know and you gravitate towards your tribe, even when you don't know where your tribe at. You look around, and the people that give you love freely just because they feel like it, right? And they love you just because it's free. I can love you for free. Come on over here and get some of this love. Come to the barbecue. We love to see you there. You get to the barbecue, they treat you like you've been a special member of the family the whole time.
Like, hey, cousin.
Right? And, yeah, and you ain't never seen these people a day in your life. And they treating you like gold. Why they treating me so good? This your tribe, motherfucker. They were glad to see you brought your ass back home. At least that's what they used to tell me when I get there. I know you folks, but you rock with the Stones, man. Come on, folks. You can rock with the Stones today.
So video was when you said you be flipping just to throw the algorithm off. I was like, he absolutely did this. Sometimes you really can't keep up. Oh, but when you do, hey, this shit crazy. This shit's crazy.
Look, the AI can't keep up. But them gangbangers and them thug niggas be matching every motherfucking flip. The same shit I be doing with the words is what they be doing with their hands. The same shit. I'm just using words. They just throwing up they set. I'm going in, I'm using the pattern, the speech pattern that's signatured after the subconscious mind organizing of information, so that I can connect as many dots as possible in your subconscious mind in order to polish the mirror that's called the black dot. Once that mirror is polished, you see clearly you don't need me no more. And I'm just trying to make it as many motherfuckers not need me as possible.
Fine. I hear you. I hear you. Now that's dope. And that's how I got into the whole human design, which kind of took me like, because I heard about it years ago, but then.
Yeah, that's the great arcana I was talking about in the last video.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, human design, the great arcana, the great work. The work of building Solomon's temple, the temple of man.
That's exactly what it is.
Right. And the temple of man houses Solomon, the soul of man.
Yeah, right.
Right. And Solomon has to go into the shrine in order to find out who is the Black Madonna so he can get his blessing from Big Mama.
So then
the Black Madonna is the next heir to be Grand Matriarch. See, they don't tell you the structure that it is the papal, the Roman Catholic Church is patterned off the civil priestesses. The only one supposed to wear black is the one who sits on the Queen of Heaven and Earth seat that they keep suspended in the air. Because if a man sit in it, they automatically lose patriarchal rights all over the earth instantly. So before they make that mistake of letting the janitor come through mopping and sit his ass in it, they elevated that bitch 30 feet in the sky in the church. And you can look that shit up to see it yourself if you don't believe me. And the Pope chair sit under the motherfucker. And then they told us we was one nation under God. They never told us she wasn't in her seat right now. That's the great work. And that shit works great when it's in its proper motherfucking order. Put the power where the power goes. Shit run the way it's supposed to run. That's the simplest explanation of matriarchy.
It is.
Put the power where it's supposed to go, and it'll run the way it's supposed to run according to the laws of nature. We elephants in human form. Look at the elephant. Watch how they do. You don't even see a bull elephant until distress comes, and you don't even hear Big Mama, the Queen Matriarch, call his ass until you see that motherfucker busting out of nowhere. Where did this big burly motherfucker come from?
I'm charging from. You're right, actually.
Yeah, because she's sending him messages in the ground. He don't walk with the women and the children. Him and the mother and them young bull males are out on the periphery. They patrolling the outskirts of where the women is. And as soon as the matriarch pound on that motherfucking ground and get that low grunt and they feel that rumble in the earth, it ain't enough lions in the motherfucking jungle to stop the motherfucking bull elephants from seeing what Big Mama wants. And Angel Bay a bull elephant. But he is Chicago bull. A big ass moose. He's a bison that won't be moved. And he in the rut. That means he ready to go. And Boy Blue, the crooked man, that nigga ready to walk. That's Big Tookie, the king crab. He don't fit in no fucking bucket, so he can't be part of no crab in the bucket shit. He don't even fit in the bucket. So the king crab is the crab that can walk over the bucket and get all the crabs out if you give him a chance. They thought he was dead because they packed him on ice. But now man on ice is a soul on fire. They done fucked up. That's going to be the shocker because they told us he was dead. Lying motherfuckers.
They told us he was dead. Oh my God. They really did. They televised it. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Made articles about it and all kind of shit.
All kind of shit. Oh my God.
But I already knew since the 60s they wasn't going to be able to kill him because Eldridge Cleaver told me. When he wrote that hard-ass book called Soul on Ice. And then he wrote that bullshit called Soul on Fire. Then he flipped that shit. And then it came through a Wes Craven shocker off of a motherfucking Eazy-E Ice Cube beef. Right? So there was a Lethal Injection straight out of Compton off of a West Side Connection, making niggas bow down when they come to our town. When they westward bound, fool. I ain't a hater like you. Bow down to a player that's greater than you. At this game we playing called the knockaround game, where we be knocking motherfuckers around, but only the gorillas stand up because the rest of them niggas getting knocked down. They done fucked around and let the gorillas come through the gate. And that's how the GDs got in the dope, off Gorilla Gride. That's GD Ride. They didn't even see it coming because they was watching the flash when I motherfucking telepathically connected with their ass. So now you got motherfucking G's in all the streets that's starting to see who we really be. And what did DMX say? They don't even know who we be. They don't know who we be. But we know who we be.
We know who we be.
Right?
Oh my God.
We know who we be. real recognize real, and a lot of ours are starting to look real familiar now.
All right. Cool. I can take that. I appreciate you, as always.
All the time. I'm gonna see if I can get some questions on the men in the matriarchy.
All right. Take it easy.
Okay, sweetie.
Bye.
All right.
But you gotta X me out.
I got you.
All right.
Translate blood shield as Rothschild. Nobody never do no real research on the Rothschilds. They find that not a single Rothschild had a personal bank account with any money in it. Everything they did was through the foundation. Right? Why did they do everything through the foundation? Because the foundation is predicated upon stolen items from here. In the ancient code of thieves is updated. It's called the Uniform Commercial Code. They can live off of it until the people who owns it reclaims it. Then they have to return it back to them with just compensation. That's why we're not eligible for reparations, because they just sitting on our shit, our wealth. The Americas was the wealthiest land in the world because the way that the people treated each other. Money wasn't the driving force. The love for your family was the driving force of everything we did. And that's the part that they couldn't understand when they got over here, because they believe in family feuds.
Yeah, I mean, I read a book, and I don't know whether it was it so-called somebody we know that's allegedly supposed to be famous quoted that when they got here, the people of the land, they were peaceable people. They were this, everything they wrote, what they encountered, what they were telling the truth, spoke to definitely not anybody who was savage or coming out of caves or anything. It was well established societies and laws and whatever that governed them. But
yeah, they burned down our cities and flooded them out. Blew them up with dynamite. We had massive structures over here. Chicago always been a metropolis for thousands of years, the same as New Orleans, the same as Detroit, the same as New York. Right? Those always been metropolises. This is what the World Fairs was filming.
Was that a cover up though? They were actually these were
they had to keep a record. Look, they had to keep a record of it before they tore it down.
Right, but they made pretend they had established these buildings as temporary World's Fairs, whatever. But you couldn't even hardly take them down because they had been up so long. Am I correct?
Right. That's when they came in with the dynamite and the demolition. So that's why you got the Great Fire of Los Angeles, the Great Fire of Chicago, the Great Fire of Miami. Florida used to be full of trees like the California redwood forest, and the people lived in the treetops and on the bottom of the trees. Those became known as, they started calling them Seminoles when they realized that they were a mixture of every tribe across the land. The Seminole means that they mix. It's a mixed tribe. But the tribes came as far away as the Polynesian Islands to fight in the Seminole Wars. That's where the war was taking place. Wow. So they backdoored us on the Louisiana Purchase. Whole tribes that moved their families closer to Florida so that their soldiers, their sons, can go fight in the wars. We were settling Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Louisiana. We drop our families off there with big mamas, and then we go fight in the wars. Well, we left castles empty. We left villages empty, like the Pueblo in Colorado. The whole clan just got up. We finna go kick some ass. And now when they do the Louisiana Purchase, they declared that we abandoned the land, and as the protectorate, they had the right to resettle it. And That's the reason why that's how they violate the treaties, with the trick of the language, what they call legalese.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you abandon it, they got the right to claim it till you come back home.
Well, isn't that the same thing now when it comes down to foreclosures and so forth? You get the notification, and some folks stand their ground and stay in their property, but as soon as you move out, they say abandon it. So the initial reason why they're going to take the property goes out the window. You abandoned it. It's like, finders keepers, losers weepers, so to speak.
So the people that settle the land become squatters.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they come up with something called squatters' rights. It's called, in ancient law, it's called the right of fair use. If you ain't using it in its workable condition, somebody who's willing to use it and maintain the condition can use it.
Well, why doesn't that rule apply now with all these vacant buildings and so forth that are around because people have abandoned them, for so-called economic reasons? Why is it that when if someone was to take over and say, look, I'm going to do something else with this, it now's a crime? Because
they got to first tie you to the paper chain. In other words, an adhesion contract. The property not changing hands under the corporate jurisdiction of the United States unless somebody's putting something on paper. They got to know who got your land and who hands has been through before you take it back, so they can know what they owe you.
And how does one do that?
They gonna tell you. This whole system is over. The United States corporation has been dethroned, so to speak. We under the Indigenous Rights Act now. We in the middle of continuity of government transfer. That's why the borders has been closed for almost 2 years.
From what I hear, the borders are being flooded by, so-called.
Oh, I'm talking about the ports. All those ships that's still sitting on the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They blamed on COVID. You can't have a government transfer and have your ports open. That's ancient knowledge. Anytime you transfer in government, you have to close the port so you don't allow yourself to the opportunity to be invaded by a foreign force while the government is in transition.
But the foreign force is right here on the land,
but
as well as outside the land too.
Right, but they in the process of being exiled from the land.
Well, they're not going down without a fight, because it seems like before they go out, they're trying to throw every, bit of a, mandate laws or whatever those things that, that mandate.
The mandate is just a suggestion. That's not a law.
Okay.
It's just a suggestion.
Okay. But we don't know that. And so if you just like, I guess, the illegality of income tax, it's a voluntary thing. But if you acquiesce and fill out their forms, then they have the right to apply.
Because you agreed to the contract. Then the contract becomes enforceable. The Internal Revenue Service is an independent tax collection agency. They debt collectors. That's all they are. You audit yourself when you do the paperwork for them. So they allowing you to audit yourself. And tell them if you owe them anything.
I was told that they were getting ready to institute some new procedure like in 2024. I think it's like 2024. Or is it 2023? That they're going to already send you the tax paperwork filled out based on the information they've gotten in, and they're going to send you your tax, your whatever your 1040 or whatever you do, 1040, and then they're going to say this is what you owe or this is what you get back, because they're going to do it based on what they've gotten in. So that, which means they're probably going to disallow all of the deductions and all these things, because if they're just going to send it to you. I'm hoping that that's a fraudulent thing that was told to me.
Everything they're doing is fraudulent. They are illegally occupying the territory under false pretenses. That make every contract that they ever sign void, because it's a constructed fraud. That's why they don't never honor none of their treaties. If you ask this Grand Sheik, if you say, Taj, why they don't honor none of their treaties, he probably be like, I don't know. They just evil like that. No, they don't honor the treaties because they never made them with the people from the land in the first place.
That's the part, because who knew, that they were making deals with folks that look like us that were not us.
No, the people that look like us brought $5 Indians over here.
And they made it with them. And they're the ones they made the contracts with. So that's why that group was recently able to get that land in was it Colorado? Where was it?
All that smoke and mirrors.
Oh, so it really isn't what.
Look, those $5 Indians, when they got over here, they came as the indentured servants. They were originally prisoners of war from the Mongol Empire, war with the Romans, and the Huns, wars with the Romans, where they was taking slaves as spoils of war. They also brought some that come from what we called Hindustan, and they brought them over here. And this is the group we see doing all our rituals. The question is, how did they learn our rituals?
What rituals are those?
All of the dances, the things to do with the feathers, the peyote ceremonies.
Oh, okay.
Our rituals. And
they have the powwows. Those folks having the
yeah.
Okay.
But all that's our stuff. So when they was on the Trail of Tears, they was kicking the ones that looked like me and you off in the southern states. And the ones that they brought over here that passed off as Dawes Road's $5 Indians, they marched them onto reservations. And them the ones they wrote the treaties with so they can make us believe that we came from somewhere else. And none of our ancestors signed treaties with them. We didn't believe in that. We didn't believe in their style of contract law. We believed in a man say what he gonna do, and that's what he do, and he shake hands on it, and that's bounding before man and God. They needed the paperwork in order to keep us constantly recontracting with them with paperwork. That's why anything that you file with the system, whether you put them on notice, if you send them a legal form to put them on notice, you just made an adhesion contract recognizing their superior jurisdiction.
Can you repeat that, please? I heard what you said, but can you say that again, please?
Yeah. Anytime you file paperwork with them, any kind of legal forms, even if it's putting them on notice, you are agreeing to their superior jurisdiction over you in status. Nobody that is organic to the land, right, need to file any paperwork with anybody on the land because they from here. You organic to the land. You before a Native American. You before an Indian. You before all that shit. You before the Moors. But they don't want you to know it. So they scrambled this egg up in legalese. It's all tied up in the legalese, in the application of the law. And this is what Ty's been telling them for the longest. If you don't understand these legal terms, you wasting your time. How many times you heard him say that?
Yeah. You're right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that folks are trying to do things to at least make the declaration. But what you're saying is you don't have a problem with the proclamation of one.
You're supposed to do it under our culture. It's done orally, and it's done in the public domain